What up today, guys? So today we're going to talk about basing. Um, so far we've kind of seen that I like more dynamic models. So I like to make my bases look really good, really interesting, and make them really pop to help the model pop. So I'm going to show you a couple. We're going to work on this one, which is actually for my unfinished repulsor. Um, or impulsor, my bad. So let's show you some of the things I've done, and then we'll show you some I'm working on, and we'll do this one. So this one's one of my favorites. It's a bit dirty. That's my bad. I'm not the best at storing my models. I just kind of put them up on a shelf and make them look good and get bad at things. So for this, I went to a local rock shop and got this really cool geode. I did this one. This is more of a display piece than a play piece, but I play with all my models too. As you can tell, it's quite dirty. My bad. But anyways, I got this geode at a local rock shop, and then I got this moss from probably like the dollar store, and then I just used some Citadel texture paints for the base. So I did something really big and then just kind of left it so it's like maybe it's coming out of the jungle. Who knows? Left it a little ambiguous. I did this for a local painting competition. The first and only one I've entered so far. I took 6th, so not too bad. I was actually quite proud of myself. I didn't take it personally well, but we are our own worst enemies, right? Our own biggest critics. And then, so that has an actual rock to it. So it actually has some kind of like some really big weight. And this one doesn't have the weight behind it really. So this is my Leviathan Dreadnought. It is fully magnetized. I didn't finish painting the because I don't always gonna plan on using them. So GW barrel from probably a Kill Team set. I drilled it out and added some UV resin, some fishing line to help guide it as it went in. Some Army Painter tufts. This is some cork. So I haven't been able to find pieces this big again. I actually got these off a collectible that I found out wasn't really worth a whole lot, so I said screw it, I want the tops to them, and destroyed everything else and took the tops. If you see battle damage to this, my dog got a hold of it. I'm not happy with her. So yeah, cork, some UV resin, and paint, and then this is just some fishing aquarium stuff I've found laying around. Because I have turtles, I pick up aquariums occasionally, and people will just be like, "Here, just take it all," and I'm like, "Cool," because I like fish tank aquarium stuff. It's some of the best and cheapest way to get terrain for your tabletops. Fishing aquarium stuff is the best, and it's stupid cheap. Like it may seem expensive, but once you put it on your table and you're playing with it, usually like PetSmart or Petco usually have like buy one get one half off. So like go check out your pet stores for some terrain stuff if you don't want to pay the price for GW terrain and you're kind of just tired of using boxes and stuff. I know how it is. And you can always spruce things up. So, but that's kind of what we've done with this base. in my previous video. We saw what we did with this base. We might get to this one today too. Let's see. So let's talk about basing materials for a minute. So I mentioned cork. Cork is great. Cork is amazing. So I told you I had these big rings, these big thick rings of cork. When somebody gave me the idea, the dude used cork. You can shape it, you can cut it, you can drill it, like you can do about anything to it. So like I had these big rings. I had like 3 of them. This is all I got left. This bag, all I have left. Or maybe I only had like 2. I've used them on a ton of models though. And some of the models I don't even have anymore. Oh well. So yeah, because cork. So look, we can use these big pieces. You know, we marine players, we love our tactical rocks. So we've got plenty of big chunky pieces. But then even if we get down here to the nitty gritty stuff, like dude, that's like smaller boulders. It's like you can sit there and break it up some more and get even finer. And you can mix this with some sand too. So cork is always a great option. It's a way to make a model stand up and stand out too. Like a demon Primarch, or not a demon Primarch, but a demon prince. His wings, and he just stands out so broad that it's hard to get a marine up to his base without them intruding upon each other. But if you raise him up just a little bit, everything can be in that engagement range like it should be. And again, it just also helps your models stand out from other people's models. Or it helps that one model stand out from the rest of your army. Put that back in that stack. So the other basic materials we have: jar of dirt. So if you're gonna get dirt out of your yard, it's totally fine. Bake it. Put it in the oven, like 250, 370, 250 to 350, I think, for like 20 minutes to a half hour. Just bake the bacteria out of it. This stuff's been sitting around for a bit. I might want to replace it, but I got a jar of dirt. Another thing you can do with a basic jar of dirt, if you don't want to go buy texture paints, make a texture paint. Take regular like acrylic paints from Walmart, the little dollar bottles, and just make it on the fly. Make what the color you need. Go buy a couple of those, make the color you need, throw some dirt in it, mix it around, you're gonna get the same results. And then like you can have a small stockpile of those kind of paints, because I do. Because I will use them for basing. I will use them for terrain, like homemade terrain. I don't like using my citadels for homemade terrain, except for like touch-ups. Not even really touch-ups, but like detailing. It's just, I don't know, I'm weird. So we got real dirt, and with that comes to real sand. Again, you can go get this out of the sandbox, bake it, clean it first. So this is actually not just sand in here. This actually came from a really old kit, and a bunch of it was already mixed together. This is static grass. The green you see in here, let's see if I can, here we go, that'll work. So all this green that I'm flipping over in here is actually static grass. I guess there's a thing that applies it, or helps apply it so it stands up. I don't have one of those. So it's not that I don't use it, I just kind of sprinkle it on and make it try to look as good as I can. But I also dig in here, so I'll grab a pinch of both together just for like natural look, right? But yeah, I probably quit mixing that up as much. So you got sand and static grass together in that one, for me at least. I believe this is really, really fine cork. I'm not 100% on what this is. But I like it. It looks really good on models. It does play into that sandy idea. So to me, these are more of an after paint. So after you paint them and you're going to base, or you're going to add to the base, you add these. This you can still paint. I mean, I guess you can paint the sand too, but you're not going to want to paint the grass necessarily. Whereas cork you want to do like when you prime it, because even when you prime this crap, it just soaks it up. So you want to get a nice good coat on that too. So either like fully build with that in mind, or and put it there, or make sure you're giving that a good coat alone and then super gluing everything down. And then one of the last things for basing after painting is tufts. Tufts are cool. I unfortunately don't have any, or don't have many. There's some right there. Another before paint, or prime then paint. And like I said this before, and I said this earlier. Aquarium bits. Aquarium bits work really good, but you notice how plastic it looks, and if you look at it against the model, it's gonna really show through. So we don't necessarily want something that looks this fake next to something we're trying to kind of bring to life. But they work really well, as you saw with my Leviathan. Like, unfortunately, because my dog got a hold of it, you can kind of see the plasticky bit parts break through, but I'm over it. It's all good. I still love her. She's a good dog. And I was able to fix my God Canyon, but it's just got some damage. But yeah, you can see like right there, it still looks a little plasticky, but it's all good. I had it looking good. At least I got pictures of it while it looked good. So yeah, let's do this impulsor. Let's do its base. So unfortunately, I already messed up on this once, and it's actually the Invictor's base. So I had to pry it up. So because we're working with super glue, that's why we're wearing gloves today in this video. I fucking hate super glue, but it works for our purposes. So we're gonna put this. So this is, if you haven't seen one, if you don't have an impulsor or haven't seen one yet, this is its flight base. So you can actually have it tilted because it's a hover vehicle. And only because it's a hover vehicle are we going to worry about doing this base. That just accentuates the fact that it hovers. That's really all we're doing, is accentuating the fact that this is actually a hovering vehicle. So this just happens to be the super glue that I have available. I usually go for this. the control of the gel is beyond amazing. But we have a brush for this one, so that works just as good for us. Used it last night. It's pretty good. And so we're just gonna scoop this all over here. See, and that's why we don't like super glue. And so because of the issues with the bottom of this, from having to pry it up off of a smaller base or a different base, I know it's not going to sit flat, and that's totally okay, because we'll squish it down just a little bit and we'll just leave it. This is also where the gel super glue comes in better than a liquid like this, because when you squish it, it's going to push to where it needs to go and fill in those gaps a bit better. But while this is here, we can do this too. Brush some around the edge. Not sure how much my hands are in the way for that. I apologize for that. I'm totally trying to get used to like a camera being above my head. So we've got this down. We're going to wait for this glue to dry for a little bit, and then we will continue basing this impulsor. Alright, now that the glue is dried, we're back. So if you see the notches in here, this is actually going to show us the clearance that we have to work with on this base. And you'll notice we don't have a lot. So we can keep it pretty simple, but the base is going to accentuate the fact that the vehicle itself is not actually on the ground. So this is actually the top to my wet palette. It probably isn't the best idea, but I can wash it right after I do this, so yeah, I'm over it. So what we're going to do, we're going to figure out what we want to use. We're going to use this one first. I can always come in and pinch some of the green out of that. But we're going to use some of this. It's a little bit of this and the sand mixed together. Oh, there's some static grass in there too. So this looks like a mixture, because I think it was all separate at one point except the sand. But anyways, I gotta quit playing with it like a fidget toy. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna go kind of a little bit at a time. Spread some super glue out. You can use super glue or PVA. We're just gonna kind of dump it back in. Bam. I actually prefer to use PVA. I don't know why. I did a video using super glue, but whatever. I guess it shows you one method, one idea. That's content, right? That's how we build content. We show ideas and trade secrets. Kind of squish that down a little bit. Try and get some of them. These bigger chunks are definitely cork. We're gonna do a little bit of that. Let's swoop in with this one real quick. Sprinkle that in there. Give it a second to it here. See, so using multiple materials at once, we can get some different terrain looks. So we'll take one of these tufts. It's a pretty big tuft. So the stickiness on these tufts never works. It works to hold them to that, and then it's done. So we're gonna brush, and stick. Just realized it's been a second since I said anything. I get kind of in my zone. I like working on bases. It's fun. Gets a little dirty, gets a little messy. But that's part of the entertainment. It's part of the joy. Part of my entertainment and joy of it, at least. Care what y'all think. Well, actually, I kind of do. What is your biggest takeaway from the hobby? Like, what do you guys like most? What do you want to see more of? So I don't want to make this video too much longer, but gives you a basic idea of what we're working with here. So I'm gonna pause here and we're gonna wrap this up real quick. Okay, well, it's about as far as I want to get for now. I'm actually gonna go find my PVA, finish it up later. But that gives you a general idea, because now if we put the impulsor on here, oh man, it just looks better than, say, just like that. So, and this mesh right here is why we did this tray underneath, because now I can just dump all this back into this container right here. So I got hungry, got sidetracked, went to make some food, completely forgot what I was doing. So that moment aside, I want to end this video so I can actually go eat the food I just made, and we can get back to making some more content. Like, follow, subscribe, appreciate your effort, guys. Thank you.